Right Network. Mobilizing, countering the left, energizing the right. New Right Network, home of the New Right movement.
Wondering why I couldn't hear myself.
I know, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to New Right Network tonight. Your host, Brian Smith, and
Carrie Smith.
Giving you all the breaking news of the day, wrapping it up, making sense of it all, exposing the fake news, and giving you the real news. And if you check down in the show notes, you will see all kinds of great information, links to the different articles that we'll mention, to the videos, and as well as those individuals on Twitter. And please follow our New Right Network writers at MAGA Rose Taylor and at Miss Mary Kofefe.
Okay.
We will be bringing them on and showcasing their articles in New Right Network, and jump over to newrightnetwork.com. Check out all the information that's there as well. And if you get a chance, jump over to smith.tv. That is our personal website. We do this 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Share this with your friends and your family. Tell them all about the new news media. That is us. While you're over at smith.tv, you can check out the shop. The shop is open. I know I mentioned yesterday I wasn't sure if it was open. The shop is open, so you can purchase some gear, stuff like that. That all goes to help us and to continue broadcasting real news. With that being said, today, 3/27/19, this is Wednesday, and the news of the day.
Fact check equals true.
Fact check equals true. Hashtag Trump 2020 is out, folks. This is big. At Donald J. Trump Jr. tweeted this out earlier today, I believe. Trump supporters help fight back against fake news by following the official Trump campaign at Trump War Room account.
Okay.
The War Room team will keep you updated on all the latest campaign news and will also fight to hold the left-wing media accountable to the American people. Hashtag MAGA, hashtag KAG, which is Keep America Great.
It'll be easier this cycle because I think it's more widespread, factually accurate, and well known at this point that your mainstream media outlets are basically lying to you in order to prevent Donald Trump from getting any kind of wins, including a giant victory in the 2020 election. So now that people know about that, it'll be a little easier to make the case.
Right. Well, not only that, but I think that we are exponentially more plugged in now than we were 2015, 2016, with Twitter being a platform that likes to shadow ban us. We're still able to keep in touch with each other.
Absolutely. And it's interesting. The citizen journalism has come a long way too. When we first got into this back in 2014, I really felt like it was extremely important for you guys to listen in. Now it's more like a party.
Oh, yeah.
And people are doing and able and learning to do their own research and to distinguish between falsehoods and truth. And so now it's just like coming here to kind of like just have it all laid out.
Right.
So
absolutely. So we're going to get into the news. There's a lot of fake news running around. CNN just cannot let it go. MSNBC cannot let it go, especially with the Mueller report being out. Well, in the sense that William Barr, Attorney General Barr's summary of the report is out. Still spinning, still reeling, and still lying about it. We've got the treasonous individuals that we're going to talk about, as well as this is day 2 of the Jussie Smollett fallout. we reported breaking news in real time yesterday. More facts have come out in 24 hours. Well, not even 24 hours. Starting 12 hours, late last night, real information started to come out that was unknown before. And now the redacted police documents have been released.
Yes.
And we've got all kinds of information. And it may turn out to be my initial knee-jerk reaction that Obama might have been involved. This thing is dirty, folks. This is dirty inside Chicago politics at its best or worst.
Yeah, and we'll have to explain to you why there's such a mutiny in the Chicago Police Department, and even more strangely, that Rahm Emanuel, the mayor of Chicago, is clearly not on board. It's hard for me to make the case that he's LARPing. He's not
LARPing.
Never know.
No, I don't think he is.
But we'll be able to explain that to you.
Right, definitely. And then I've got a subject down at the bottom, FYI news, just because there's a lot of random things that happened today that popped up in the news that I couldn't really categorize it. We've got some breaking news about the border and illegal immigration. We've got folks on the ground, new news media on the ground in Texas, reporting in real time, stuff that you're not going to see anywhere. Project Veritas and our friend James O'Keefe. Some new voter fraud, breaking information. We knew that this was going on, but what James O'Keefe has done is actually turned the spotlight on it and filmed what's going on in the real world, so that we can see it.
Voter fraud exposed. Right. Yeah. And I'd like to throw in, if we have time, I'd like to talk about what is number one trending this morning, Barbara Bush. So if we have time, I'll let you guys know why that's trending number one morning.
You can let me know too.
There you go. Breaking news to everybody.
And then we'll start out with just a couple little tidbit things. At Nate on the Hill, final vote on the Green New Deal fails. 0 to 57.
Wow. That's unlikely, right? Unexpected?
Unexpected, with 43 Democrats voting present.
Oh, gosh.
Jones, Seema, Manchin, and King voted with the Republicans. And this at Steve Geyer, a friend of ours that follows us, we follow him on Twitter, and his response to Nate, the heavyset bald guy laughing gif, laughing. Mitch McConnell, and they wanted to bring it to a vote, folks. Why not vote on this thing? Bring this thing to the table and vote on it, and there you get it. Sorry, Casey Cortez. It just ain't happening. It's the old dog Democrats telling the new ones coming in, hey, whoa. You don't know how this game is played.
That's an accurate take.
And then you would do that? Oh, I thought you were pulling up Bush.
Oh, I could talk about – you want to start with Bush? Barbara Bush?
Let me ask you this question then.
Okay.
This posted up by –
I don't have a lot to say about it, but since it's number one trending, might as well get it out of the way.
This by our friend FUCT up Mike. Pope Francis does not want you to kiss his ring.
What? That's like a rite of passage.
I don't know. Did you catch that?
What does he want us to do with it?
This is beyond hysterical. Just watch as people come up. They're attempting. Watch his hands.
Oh my gosh! He's like,
watch his. Just keep watching his hands. It gets away. Oh, and it starts to get worse, and he pulls away from these people. No.
Oh man, it's so embarrassing.
And there's it looks like there's an older guy. And
Saturday Night Live's going to have a field day with this.
Look, it's like she ran after. They're running after his hand. No,
don't the people behind them in line see him doing this?
The ones behind, like he jerked his hand out of there.
I think they're making a big joke out of it. They're laughing. They're laughing. I think this is a big joke.
Okay, so that by Mike. I don't know, Mike. You're going to have to give me a heads up on what that's all about. Anyways,
Yeah.
so the trending news of the day,
Barbara Bush.
Barbara Bush.
So apparently, she's no longer with us.
Correct.
So it's kind of like, wait, why is she trending number one? Apparently, there's a brand new biography of Barbara Bush coming out. And so they're talking about it all this morning. And of course, it's making headlines because it involves Trump and the Republican Party. It's two, we know, related issues.
Right.
Trump, Republican Party, Barbara Bush having her life displayed in a biography. These all are related, but they're presenting it as two unrelated topics, and it's just blowing my mind. So Barbara Bush apparently did not like Donald Trump.
No, I imagine she probably didn't.
Did not like him, and so that's not a surprise. But then they also reported separately that in this biography that she no longer considers herself a Republican. So what is that? I want to hear your, now this is all new to Brian, so I want to get his initial take. When you hear that she didn't like Trump to the point where I'm not 100% sure if they divulge in this book, I'm sure they will, who exactly she voted for. But we know for a fact that her husband, George H.W. Bush, voted for Hillary Clinton. We know that is a fact.
Yes.
So it wouldn't surprise me to find out that she did also. But that she's also found herself no longer considered herself a Republican. That was later on in life. Earlier, she was having questions about the direction of the Republican Party. Later said no longer consider herself a Republican. How do you mesh those two seemingly unrelated? They're presenting it as unrelated. I'm like, dude, this says something.
Right. No, absolutely. This kind of goes hand in hand with what some of the mainstream media is saying, that Donald Trump hijacked the Republican Party.
Okay.
And I want to say I agree 100%. Now, looking back, we got rid of Rhino, Paul Ryan, and God rest his soul, John McCain, and some of these, Jeff Flake. They're leaving the exodus of 2018 of leaving the party with an attempt to stifle Trump's presidency, to ruin the last 2 years of his first term. That didn't happen. And that's not going to happen. We've got the Senate. We've got everything going so well in this country that, yes, we are moving for the first time ever away from the uniparty and the globalism. And so if you define the Republican Party as Trump's party, I'm afraid Bush family, y'all Democrats,
or not. If not Democrats, it seems what she probably would, if she was still alive today, what she would probably try to explain to me is that the Republican Party has moved in a direction that she doesn't think it should go, and that the Republican Party's changing, and I'm not changing, and so I'm no longer a Republican. But honestly, we know that the Republican Party is the party of Abraham Lincoln, who wrote the Emancipation Proclamation and freed the slaves and fought the bloodiest war in American history in order to keep us unified as a fully free nation, including regardless of what your race is, abolishing slavery. And then you fast forward to Calvin Coolidge, which I didn't know much about until Brian explained to us on this show multiple times that this guy was not just, hey, let's cut taxes and reduce government size, but did it on the founding principles that, we should not have such a giant centralized government.
Right. They used to make fun of him and call him, the do-nothing president, the do-little. And the reason why is because he wouldn't expand. He wouldn't do more.
Right.
You know how these politicians always say, when I get to Capitol Hill, I'm going to do something.
There's too many Americans who think of the government and the role of elected officials and people who are just deep state hired government workers, that it's like a factory. And the more product you produce, the better the factory is, the better it's running, the more profitable it is. So when we get to that factory called Capitol Hill, we need to start pumping it out. When we get to the White House, we got to start pumping it out.
No!
We got to make progress by creating as much useless paper as possible. And it's like, no, that's not what the government is. So Calvin Coolidge was what the founders originally thought of. What you got your Lincoln. Fast forward to Ronald Reagan. All right, we know, and we've told you a million times on the show, that George H.W. Bush was selected for the same reason that Trump selected Pence.
However, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say that we did not expect Pence to do what George H. Bush did. George H. Bush was deep stater. He was
the CIA director,
right? He was like a globalist mentality, down with the Uniparty.
Right.
I know Mike Pence has been in politics a long, long time. However,
and he's the poster boy for the perfect Republican elected official.
Yeah, Christian groundings, a long time marriage, apparently healthy marriage.
Won't ever say
kids.
or do anything out of line.
Oh,
very vanilla.
Kamala Harris, I'm sorry. Yes, you will not find him in private alone with anybody else other than his wife.
Yeah,
that's what it is, man.
Yeah, so he's like the last Boy Scout, I guess.
Right, and like I said, I'm going to go on a limb. I do not see if he is elected president of the United States after Donald J. Trump.
It's hard to believe that he was corrupted by anything.
He would continue with the policy.
He would try, but he doesn't have Trump's personality.
No.
He would maintain policy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He would do a good job of that.
Yeah, it wouldn't go the way of H and then just handing it off. Well, he didn't hand it off, but then all of a sudden we
kind of sabotaged it.
And then we got the Clintons.
It kind of feels like in hindsight that George H.W. Bush was very easily manipulated by the big dogs in the Democrat Party, tricking him into doing things like making him believe that, I know you said read my lips. I know you said that, but don't worry, we're not going to hurt you politically. If you do what we all know needs to be done, we're insolvent. We've got to raise taxes, and we'll support you in that. He got tricked.
Right.
Now, do I believe that Pence can be tricked? I don't think that he could be tricked. I think. So we'll see.
He doesn't have that clairvoyancy that Trump has.
Street smarts.
Yes.
Donald Trump was not born yesterday. He did not fall off the turnip truck yesterday. So anyway, getting back to this, you got your Reagan and then you have Trump. And so there's this line of succession of the Republican Party that we can point to its founding with Abraham Lincoln to make the argument that people like the Bush dynasty are more like they hijacked the party from where from its original foundation, and that Trump has just taken it back. It's rightfully in the hands of the people who like Donald Trump, who liked Ronald Reagan, who I'll bet you if we were alive at the time, you'd find out that everybody loved Calvin Coolidge, and certainly Lincoln, a beloved president. So for those two unrelated things, they're all together. Barbara Bush and the Bush dynasty, they fell out of the Republican Party because they lost it. It was wrestled from you by we the people. Yes. We have taken it back. And so for all of you Trump supporters out there who say, damn it, I don't consider myself a Republican. I'm a MAGA movement guy, but damn those Republicans. No. We got it back.
We were taking the party over 100%.
Yes.
And tweeted out by @PrisonPlanet, Paul Joseph Watson. New CNN poll finds Trump has a higher approval rating than Ronald Reagan had at the same point in his presidency.
That's interesting.
People started commenting, oh, so now you're going to believe CNN now. Well, if you want to get cynical and pick it apart, you could say that CNN is trying to ruin Reagan, or that CNN is trying to say that the Trump voters are wrong and you need to wake up and go back to your Reagan. I don't know. Whatever you want to say about it, it is what it is.
Well, let's just put it to you this way. I look at it this way. CNN can say whatever they want. Obviously, they're fake news. But let's just say that they had a random act of journalism and this is true. I would look at it like this. Well, that says a lot about Trump because we all know that Ronald Reagan was one of the greatest presidents in U.S. history.
Right.
So for him to be more popular now than at the time was what ended up being such a great president.
Well, I mean, I don't know. You could say that CNN's fake all day long, and it's true that they are. Sometimes they put stuff out that's not fake, but the fact that they have a poll.
It's a battle of narratives.
Right, that's all.
And if they print something that goes in line with our narrative, and by the way, our narrative is based on truth.
Correct.
Okay. So if we feel that something that fake news comes out with fits a narrative of truth, we'll say, all right, well, okay, even CNN is reporting this stuff. So.
Right. It's a good times and more fake news that's out there, folks. This at Donald Withrow 1. We are not going to tell you. We're just going to let CNN die and say hello to new news. Where is that? I have no idea. No news is better than CNN news, but we just do not trust CNN. Sorry. And this was a video posted up by at Chuck D. Ross, the Daily Caller. Chris Cuomo just said this with a straight face. What's wrong?
But you're the reporters, and the reporters, you have a job to make sure you're putting out the right facts. And
Of course
for 2
you do.
years, you put out the wrong facts.
What wrong
That's
facts?
significant.
What wrong
here's-
facts did we put out?
That's pretty much that's it.
Seriously?
What wrong facts did we put out?
That's gaslighting. That is gaslighting. Oh my gosh. Well, it's so so there's these attacks on CNN, and I've heard the same about CNN. But check this out. Daily Caller comes out, and by the way, they're just one of many, many reports. So I just picked this one out of a hat, but there's a bunch of them. MSNBC's Rachel Maddow loses 500,000 viewers after implosion of collusion conspiracy.
Holy
yeah.
Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on.
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding.
500,000 in like 2 days. In 2 days. And check this out.
The run up, she was gaining viewers I was thoroughly upset with how many viewers she was gaining.
Yeah, well, it turns out that they have been moderately successful in brainwashing and duping a lot of people, a lot of, sorry souls that for whatever reason had no other reason to believe her. And so it seems to me, based on this fact, that there are good people out there that just thought she was reporting fact and were so upset at this new news that there was no Russian collusion that they've had it. They're not going to be lied to anymore, and they're upset and they're done watching her. I've also read reports, since you were talking about CNN, that a very similar thing has happened to CNN, but you got to understand that their ratings are in the tank from their baseline is basically zero, plus the captive audience of the airports and the urinals.
Right. We talked all about that.
You might be like, urinals? What? Did Carrie just say urinals?
Yeah, in the men's
put
bathroom.
TVs in front of the urinals, and it'll be on CNN.
Because they know men. I mean, when you're standing there at the urinal, it's this close to
They put ads there, too, by the way.
There.
Yeah.
So you're forced to look at it because, guys, for you ladies, you're not supposed to look down. And you don't look over. You've got to look straight.
Bathroom etiquette, people.
Yes.
Public bathroom etiquette. So, one of the most prominent voices of the collusion conspiracy, spending most of her programs over the past 2 years on allegations that President Donald Trump coordinated with the Russian government to win the 2016 presidential election. And now she's struggling to hold back tears as she delivers her opening monologue last Friday, which was before the report. You remember that?
Oh, yeah. They announced.
People are getting suspended from Twitter for posting a clip of her coming to tears.
Attorney General Barr received the report late Friday, like Friday 5 o'clock.
Okay. It wasn't even published till like Sunday.
Right. And so he.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm lying. It was the Friday dump. You're right. You're right.
He and Rod Rosenstein, Dirty Rat Rosenstein, apparently mulled over it for the past, for the Saturday, Sunday, and finally came to their conclusion and released.
Yeah, sorry. I misreported that. She held back tears delivering open monologue last Friday, clearly stunned that Mueller did not bring any indictments against the president. So it was after the indictment, and it was a late Friday.
And we were told there would be no more indictments. This is over.
It's over. Yeah, totally over. Vindicated, and there you go.
Little baby Brian Stelter. I tell you what, Mark Dice is having a field day with this guy.
Gosh.
If you don't
Hilarious.
if you don't follow Mark Dice on Twitter or YouTube, you absolutely have to. But he does this Brian Stelter voice.
It's a falsetto. They call it falsetto. It's where a man who normally has a normal man's voice, I guess, goes up into like a Mickey Mouse voice.
Yes, I am baby Brian Stelter, and I'm going to report the news as you see it right now.
It's so funny because his voice really is abnormally high. Now, it is an ad hominem. It's a personal attack, but it's funny. Whatever. I try not to indulge in it too much because it's personal attack, but it is what it is.
But I mean, he has fun with. I mean, it's a fun personal attack.
Here's what's so weird that it's so funny that I would have never thought if I were Mark Dice that this was something that would be so funny. He doesn't change any of the words.
No,
he is having the original video redubbed with his own falsetto voice, and he says all the exact same words. He doesn't change anything. Like, I try to make you guys laugh sometimes by reading an article and then out of the blue throw in a phrase that's not written in there that's outrageous, and it gets a laugh. Mark Dice isn't even doing that.
No.
It's word for word.
Okay, so
all in falsetto.
This is Baby Brian Stelter, Mark Dice, and you'll see, for those of you on video, you'll be able to see it. Audio only. The voice that you hear, the tiny voice, is really Mark Dice.
He does the falsetto, yeah.
Doing, speaking the words verbatim as if it's coming out of Baby Brian Stelter's mouth.
Because it did come out of his mouth. He just redubbed it.
Right. And so this is one where he's actually endorsing, and Avenatti is in the news, endorsing Avenatti for president 2020.
So this is an old clip.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a good thing that star power and TV savvy is required for the job, but I think it is. And by the way, I think President Obama also had a lot of TV star power, and that helped him pre-Trump. But Trump is more evident of this. And looking ahead to 2020, one reason why I'm taking you seriously as a contender is because of your presence on cable news.
Perfect. It's like all the pauses, and he nails it.
It did it really, really well.
He's got to take, 50 takes maybe?
He said originally he started doing the voice, and all his audience loved the voice and said, that's it. And so then he started to take it one step further.
And do whole clips and stuff.
Just crushed it. Absolutely. But
it's got to be difficult to do, though, because you heard, I don't know if Brian played the clip or not, but you heard the pauses, and you got to really nail the timing on it. But anyway.
Right. The reason why I brought him up is we're talking about fake news. Brian Stelter tweeted this out. CNN president.
No. You have to do it in falsetto.
Brian Stelter tweeted out, CNN president Jeff Zucker, we are not investigators. We are journalists, and our role is to report the facts as we know them, which is exactly what we did.
I think you nailed it. I think you should do that.
Tweet.
Oh, jeez. Oh, that was good. That was good. I like it. You're right there with Mark Dice.
So he's saying that the president of CNN, Mark Zucker, hey, we're not investigators. We're journalists. We're just reporting the way we see it. That's abject. It's almost like it's an opinion piece. We're reporting it as we see it. So this is our opinion of how we see it. It's an opinion piece. CNN has turned into an opinion network.
So it's interesting that you say that. So Andrew McCarthy wrote an article, and this is one of the paragraphs in it. In journalism, we validate statements, period. That's the whole job. For about 100 years, the essence of journalistic education has been to teach elementary principle about the handling of facts, like the need for multiple independent sources. This training is how our industry gets useful work out of employees whose judgment, intelligence, and veracity readers otherwise would have no reason to trust. As recent events have proved, let these disciplines slip even a bit. Let reporters fall back on their native judgment and instincts for preferred narratives, and readers quickly learn how well-founded such distrust is.
And this by the Wall Street Journal?
Yeah, that was in the Wall Street Journal, and man, what a devastating article. I'm going to read this other one that's in there that is about the Mueller investigation. For any intelligence community worth the name, or any other astute inquisitor, the question long since would have become, how did Mr. Steele, a foreign national secretly promoting wholly unsubstantiated claims for anonymous alleged foreign sources, manage to so scandalize and disrupt our politics for 2 years with fabricated accusations? Our intelligence community is not interested in this question because the answers would embarrass and likely incriminate its own members.
100%.
Is that devastating or what?
It's crushing. Not only that, but the other question that was asked is, when did Mueller know? And how long did he know? Information is coming out now that Mueller actually knew. Well, we know that Mueller knew pretty much all along. But evidence is coming out that Mueller's report was finished. He knew it was over. It was done before the 2018 election.
Yeah.
And did not release it in fear of Donald Trump maintaining or gaining seats in the House and the Senate.
So it's purely political.
Well, not only was it political, what's going to happen to Roger Stone now?
Yeah, apparently Roger Stone was raided after they knew that there was no Russian collusion. They didn't even get a chance to get him to either plead guilty on false process crimes or even lie to the FBI. They didn't even get him to do those things yet.
What about Jerome Corsi? He had a $300 million lawsuit against Mueller.
That's an interesting story. It turns out that Jerome, they were trying to General Flynn, both Roger Stone and Corsi, just to rack up on this long list of indictments to somehow, and by the way, the Democrats were using it as some sort of evidence that there must have been collusion with Russia. Because look at all these indictments.
Look at all the indictments.
That was their evidence. They're racking up indictments on process crimes and using it as evidence that Russian collusion actually occurred. Interestingly, look at Flynn. Flynn was like, oh my gosh, they're going after my son. They're going to be going after my house. I got, $7 million in legal debts. How do I make it stop? How do I make it stop? And they're like, oh yeah, just plead guilty and it'll all go away.
Mysteriously go away.
So he pleads guilty, but here's the thing about Corsi and Roger Stone. They decided, damn it, you know what? You only live once, and I lived a long, great life.
Well, both of them are older. I mean, they're seasoned. They're what, 70s?
I don't know their exact ages, but Corsi was mulling over whether he should let himself get General Flynn. And his wife said, you know what? I would rather visit my husband behind a jail cell every day than to have to live with knowing that you lied to the FBI to give them what they want. And he said, all right. So he told the FBI, he said, hey, I'm here to talk. And that is, I'm fighting your butts. And guess what happened? On both cases that they decided, no, we're not giving you what you want. We're going to push back. Both cases, Mueller was like, damn it. I was really afraid they were going to do that. And they walked away. Yep. They got away with it. And there you go.
And so this was at Red Pill Report. Great information. This is one to follow, folks. I'm in a DM with him back and forth. Great information that he sends me, and I send him information as well. But at Red Pill Report, massive DOJ leak reveals Mueller's finished Trump-Russia probe months before 2018 election, kept silent while Dems swept the midterms. And it's just as dirty as it is. We all know that it's political. We knew it was political to begin with.
Right.
Bought and paid for by Hillary Clinton. And again, this by TruePundit.com. So if you want to get real news, listen to us here on Smith.tv, New Right Network tonight. Listen to us here, and you'll be able to plug in on a daily to individuals that are retweeting real news, real time, real information. And if you're on Twitter and you've got information you want to send us, by all means, hit the DM.
We'll report it. Yeah, we'll report it.
We'll give you credit right here on the show nightly. This was kind of, as this whole thing is wrapping up and the Mueller thing is falling apart, I've just got one last little thing. I don't really have much to say about it anymore, but I'm frustrated with some of these talking heads. Greta Van Susteren. She's been around for a while.
She was on Fox News forever, and then when she moved over to CNN, My assessment is she says what she's told to say.
Right.
And as far as I'm concerned, her actual personal ideology is ambiguous. Originally it looked like she was a good defendant of conservatism when she was at Fox News, but for her to go all the way full bore the other way kind of makes it seem like you end up questioning what you were hearing from her over at Fox News. Like, okay, so what is she? Basically, she's a yes woman.
Yeah, what is your journalistic integrity? Where does it lie?
Wherever the paycheck signer tells her.
Now, I thought she originally left Fox News to just kind of take time off and get away from the scene.
I can't remember what the exact reason was.
But then to show up at CNN, I don't.
Which is fine. You know what? You take employment wherever you can get it.
Sure.
But I'm really disappointed to find out that really these networks are full of, you think it's just full of a bunch of people that are just trying to put together facts, maybe have an interesting take on something throughout their opinions and all that kind of stuff. And you end up with information in an entertaining way. And if it has a slant, it's just their hiring practices, right? But if you hire Greta Van Susteren from a Fox News, you've got to be seen as going a little bit more to the right. Okay. But that wasn't the case. It turns out that Greta is just like, hey, listen, I don't have any skin in the game. You tell me what you want to print. You tell me what kind of ideological slant you want to have, and I'll put it right in there. So that's her talent.
And so she's doing it. She's taking it to the Twitter. So we got to do this in reverse order. This is like Jeopardy.
Okay.
I replied to her tweet, and my reply was, you don't get to do criminal acts as a politician and then let off the hook just because you quit being the political realm. Sedition. HRC must be made an example. And that was in response to Greta. She tweeted out, I don't think putting gasoline on a fire is smart, which to a layperson, she's right.
Diffuse the situation.
Hold on. Gasoline on a fire is not smart, Carrie.
That's not smart. I would agree with that.
Okay, so she's got us at gasoline. Regardless of what HRC did or did not do, she is out of politics, and the nation needs to move forward, not be stuck in the past. I worry more about the now and the future for my fellow Americans than the past.
Oh, she's having an existential crisis.
Yes, yes.
Oh, she's an existentialist. It's all about now. Forget about the future. Forget about the past. It's what's happening right now. Listen.
So you see where my response comes in, right?
Yeah, let's look at the future. If somebody can look into the past and say, well, let me see here. So Hillary broke all kinds of laws while she was in office. And then she probably broke a bunch more laws while she was running. And it was all for the hope and prayer that she'll be able to be exonerated herself. She can self-exonerate herself by becoming president, and just nobody can touch her. She'll be at the top. Nobody can touch her. She didn't win, and she's going to be just that's going to be her punishment. Guys, people, you don't say, oh, she lost the election. That's her. She's got to be devastated. Let's just leave it at that. We all knew she was a crook. And so her punishment is that she gets to lose an election. No, because then in the future, people are going to say, well, I can do whatever I want, because if I win, I'll self-exonerate myself. And if I lose, they're going to take the loss as being my punishment. So, hey, gloves are off. No, you've got to punish these people for doing this stuff.
It's like working for a bank, stealing millions of dollars.
Okay.
And then quit your job.
Or maybe you got fired.
And say, oh, you can't prosecute me. I'm no longer a banker.
Forget quitting. Fire. And then everybody's like, hey, I know he stole lots of money.
But his punishment is he got fired.
He's unemployed now. He's in all kinds of trouble. She's going to live the rest of her life, and her legacy is just going to live the rest of their lives, living off of the wealth, the dirty blood money that they were able to accumulate with all kinds of illegal activity across the globe. And you're just going to say that losing the election is punishment enough? Come on. No.
Sorry, Greta. Sorry. And to the whole point of all of that, you hear the talking heads spinning, they're twisting, they're turning, this whole Russia. Folks, take a deep breath. That's over. Focus on who needs to be prosecuted.
That needs to happen.
We've got Jim Jordan, Mark Meadows, a lot of great minds up there. Attorney General Barr, watch him become the absolute crusader
He might
that
be.
Donald Trump needed.
The fact that he's dared, 22 months Mueller worked on this. He doesn't, this is his baby for 22 months. The letter that came out summarizing his report from William Barr cannot be exactly what Mueller wanted to be printed. For him to come out with that shows that Barr is definitely a man of integrity as far as I'm concerned, because he went against so many millions of dollars worth of work, right?
Yes.
Totally against it.
Some people are saying 25 million. Some people are saying 30 million.
Yeah.
I don't think it went up to 40 million. So you're just looking anywhere from 25 to 35 million.
Yeah.
Taxpayer
dollars just gone.
Flushed down, literally lit on fire to light one to smoke it. Like
Now,
literally it just lighting it on fire.
And even though we were against the special counsel to begin with, once it was formed, I understand there has to be a minimum amount of work that they do in order to come to some conclusion. But we know now from the various articles that are coming out that it was months ago that they were concluded.
Not only months ago that they were concluded, but the special counsel being put together for the false narrative to continue to cover for Hillary Clinton and the Democrat Party. It was intentionally.
Yeah.
McCabe.
They were buying time.
Yes. McCabe knew Rosenstein. They knew Mueller. They knew Mueller was the cleanup guy. Put him in there. We got to continue this pony ride.
And they knew that Christopher Steele's dossier was totally fake. Andrew McCarthy was pointing out that he needed to focus on the dossier, focus on the Christopher Steele dossier in order to find out whether or not we should even go forward with this. And it was almost as if he just took it at face value and didn't even investigate the veracity of it. It's crazy. The whole thing's crazy.
And yesterday we reported again, day 2 of the Jussie Smollett fallout. We reported on this real time yesterday live. Here's what we concluded. There was no accident that it came out on a Tuesday morning. Kind of speculated Obama involvement. Also speculated that this was to overshadow the fact that we were doing a victory lap or whatever.
It was to stop the victory lap.
Right. Of MAGA movement.
Yeah.
Now we're starting to find out that there's some really dirty, dirty deeds done dirt cheap. And the Chicago Police investigative file of Jussie Smollett is now posted. Your comment about the quickness.
Yeah, so let's back up just a little bit. So this thing comes out yesterday, that Jussie Smollett's going to be completely let go for free forever. Just totally. There's not even going to be a record that he was ever even looked at by the Chicago police for anything. Like our thumbnail said yesterday, like it never even happened. And so that happened. And of course, there's outrage, and everybody who's doing victory laps over the William Barr summary of the Mueller report are now just like, hair is on fire.
Wait, it took them from one pendulum swing to the far right and flung them back to the other side.
And it seemed pretty obvious that it was by design. However, out of nowhere, the Chicago police is like, come on, what is going on? They were so livid and so angry. And shockingly, Rahm Emanuel, the Chicago mayor, comes out and his hair's on fire. So he's all mad. And I start to think to myself, all right, let's reverse engineer this thing. We know that the timing was intentional because they could have done this on a Friday dump, not just this Friday, but the following Friday it could have been done. The Friday after that it could have been done. So it seems to me that 48 hours or less after, things were blowing up with the Mueller report, that the timing on this, 11:30, 11:29 on a Tuesday.
Just before Rush Limbaugh's show, enough time for Rush.
To actually digest it.
Yes!
Yes. If it came out at 12, Rush would have been, I don't know how, his producers would have had to digest it for him and start feeding him information. I don't know if he would have gotten to it. He may not have even gotten to. His producers would have had to do it. And then during the breaks, he would have had to been like
just feverishly
speed
going
reading,
through,
like, and just trying to come up with whatever.
And he says he does. He has ability. He reads very fast.
It would have been difficult,
yeah,
but they wanted to give him just enough time to fully digest. And guess what? He spent like the first 40 minutes talking about it, and so it worked like a charm. That their timing was in order to derail the. And by the way, I came up with that meme that you guys saw where the distracted boyfriend, where the news cycle is the boyfriend looking at the attorney generals, or I should say the prosecutors of Chicago, while the Mueller report is like, like all upset. So that's really what's going on here. So why didn't the Chicago mayor or the Chicago police, if this is an operation by the Democrat Party in the most corrupt city on earth, a Democratic mayor, a friend of Obama, hair on fire, ready to just blow everything up, Chicago police ready to just say, nobody go out in any cruisers today.
No.
We're going to stay here.
Home.
So check this out. Within minutes of this happening, somebody fills out a FOIA report, Freedom of Information Act, on all the documents in the police investigation of Jussie Smollett. It comes out so fast and published so fast.
Now, so that everybody knows, there are FOIA requests by Judicial Watch.
Okay. Yeah, that's their thing. Judicial Watch FOIA requests all the time.
2 years.
Yeah.
3 years.
Mike Cernovich has successfully obtained documents through FOIA requests. And you're at least looking at if it was 2 or 3 weeks, that's fast tracking.
Yes. Because they
months, years, whatever it may be.
They got to look through each and every single page, redact, make sure what's redacted, what can't be redacted.
So if the redacting person redacts things, it's not ready to go. Somebody has to double check that. When we were we both worked on aircraft in the military. We don't just remove and replace a component and tell the pilot to go ahead and fly it up.
No.
For us, it had to be checked by a CDI, collateral duty inspector, who was qualified to check to see if the work was done properly, sign off on it, and at that point, the plane would be up and ready to run. So when it comes to the intelligence community, maybe Jack Posobiec having actually been in it, will probably acknowledge that it would have to be seen by a higher up to make sure that you didn't accidentally forget a redaction. That's pretty important because it has very sensitive information.
You better redact more than less, which is good. However, this police department, I feel they wanted to get as much of this information out as fast as possible. Folks, less than so this breaks at 11:30. Somebody files a FOIA request
and we're
right
on
away.
Wednesday. It's Wednesday.
Not even 20. It wasn't even.
It was like half a day.
From 12 to maybe 16 hours, it was redacted and sent out.
Yeah. In fact, let me see if there's an actual time on this. This just says Wednesday, March 27th, 19. This was the first original source that actually put the links up. This came out so quick that it's cwbchicago.com. And they said, we didn't even have a chance to even look at any of these documents. They immediately came out with this article that just has 2 links to each of the different files. One is 39 pages long. The other is 22 pages long. It's like a PDF file. And it's all redacted and everything like that. Here, guys, let's do the logistics on this. It would have had to have been like, I want somebody to have a FOIA request on my desk in the next 10 minutes. Everybody come in for an emergency meeting. All I don't know how many people are on the police force, but I imagine everybody came in and they were probably each given
one sheet. One sheet. Everybody, you get your sheet, you get your sheet.
Yeah, pass them out, had everybody frantically redacting, and then had maybe a small team of people who can sign off on the redactions, get together and just go through this like crazy and assure the chief that it's all up and everything's good and redacted and everything, because that's the only way this could have came out so quick.
Right.
And why did they do it? Because they are that mad.
Oh, they're infuriated.
So mad.
Some of the behind the scenes stuff, and you guys, you got to give it to James Woods. I was talking to my mom this morning on the phone, and she called me, or I called her up, and we all of a sudden got right into politics, and she said, "Yeah, had a great show yesterday."
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Ma. Appreciate it.
We know.
Oh no! She's like,
I had to do the Star Wars where what did she say? She said, "I love you," and he goes, "I know." So that was the Han Solo.
So I mentioned to her about James Woods getting involved in this, and he's really politically active. And she's, oh yeah, I heard about it. Apparently, people on the radio on the AM talk about James Woods tweeting. There you go. So this by real James Woods. She dodges Jussie Smollett completely and says we need to take hate crimes more seriously. This is irony at its
What words are those? I'm reading.
Fede dinar.
Is that for real?
You know what probably happened?
He fell asleep.
No, it does say Fede dinar. It
What does that mean?
must be Latin.
No, he is a Mensa. Did you know that?
What's a Mensa?
There's a group, like an international group of people who are genius level intelligence, and if you are qualified, you can be a member of Mensa, and you have to be a genius. And James Woods is a member of Mensa. Just
Okay, so when you type that into Google, the first thing that comes up is James Woods' tweet.
of course,
All right, I ain't got time for that.
it's probably a cafefe moment.
Sorry, James.
Cafefe.
I will give the fact that you are that smart.
Because you,
So here is Kamala Harris, and this is the reason why I'm doing Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, did you see this?
Mm-mm.
Kamala Harris is friends with
Jussie Smollett. Oh, no, she's related to him, isn't she?
Jussie Smollett, and also a picture of her taken with Fox.
She's either related to him or is very, very close with
Right.
him.
But taking a picture with Fox, the prosecuting attorney.
Yeah.
because you're a former prosecutor,
Yeah.
you understand the law. What do you think about what happened to Jussie Smollett in Chicago today?
To be perfectly honest with you, Wolf, I'm completely confused. I don't understand. I don't know. I don't know the underlying evidence. I have, there's a sealed document, obviously. I don't know. I'm at a loss. I think we're going to have to leave it up to the judgment of the prosecutor. I think we should leave it up to the judgment of the police chief and the mayor, of course, to give us some better sense of what's going on. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if you're
I'm
confused,
confused.
all of us
I'm
are
confused,
confused.
to
And
be
you heard
honest.
Mayor Rahm Emanuel, he's confused as well. And the Cook County prosecutor, he says, didn't even inform him or the police commissioner that they were to drop these
Yeah.
charges.
But I think there's a point that the mayor made that is I would like to emphasize because I'm seeing it around the country and it is a very real issue, which is the seriousness of hate crime. And over the last 2 years, we've seen a growth of hate crime, be it in terms of race, be it religion, anti-Semitic crime, Islamophobic crime, crimes against that are born out of homophobia and transphobia. We have seen an increase around our country and frankly around the world. And we cannot play games with it. We have to take it very seriously because it obviously can result in lethal consequences if we don't take it seriously.
Okay, she's not confused. This is her operation. She's a dunce. Plausible deniability, that's what she's doing. But here's why she's a dunce. Not because she's saying, I don't know. No. She knows and she knows what she's doing. But she's a dunce because she didn't get the memo to Rahm Emanuel. She needed to let him know what she's doing. He's acting out because he wasn't told and he is mad and he has to look good in front of the police force. When you're a mayor, you're essentially the president of the city, and the police force is essentially the military of the city. And so I want to get that analogy because most people understand the federal government, but when you get down to the local level, people all of a sudden act like it's all confusing. It's all scalable. You got your governors and you got your state police, National Guard, all this stuff. So it's all scaled. So you understand how this works. He probably really is outraged because he wasn't told, but he also has to really play the role because he sees how mad the police are.
Right. No,
So
and the thing that James Woods tweeted out means extremely or unpleasant. And then the second word is rock bottom, lowest depths
is it English though?
of a
Or is it-
person or organization.
Are they English words? Wow. He went full Mensa on that butt. Oh my goodness.
Arabic or French. Arabic, French, another language. Anyways, thank you, James Woods, for the fun and games. He also tweeted this out. Picture says, questions. Here are your answers. Now, just real quick. There's Fox, the prosecuting attorney, dropped charges. Question. Just because Kamala Harris got a selfie with the prosecuting attorney.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, I mean, they could have ran into each other. I mean, I have selfies with tons of people. I can put them all up for you if you want me to. I have a selfie with Tim Pool, and I follow him closely, but he doesn't follow me. We actually are friends on Facebook, but anytime I put a comment on any of his posts, he doesn't ever like it and respond to it, but he gets thousands and thousands and thousands of responses and stuff. My point is that I just happened to run into him. I'm a big fan. So I got a selfie with him.
So I'm saying that I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, that's the smoking gun. That's not the smoking gun.
Yeah, right.
It stinks. It's still smelly.
A little bit.
But they run in the same circle, whatever it be. So Big League Politics posted this article up. This is where it gets bad.
Okay.
Meet Michelle Obama's chief of staff, who kept Jussie Smollett out of jail.
So Fox was Michelle Obama's...
No, this is another woman. This is somebody else. Her name's Tina Tchen.
Okay. Chen with a T on it. Tchen.
Yeah.
Now has been exposed as the person who interviewed with Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx to convince the judge to drop the charges against hate hoaxer Jussie Smollett, a close friend of the Obama family.
Okay, so what happened? And is this verifiable? Oh my gosh, people. A Freedom of Information Act was filed.
Okay.
And complied with within 12 to 16 hours.
They didn't grease the right palms.
They claim the text messages and information and emails, text messages and emails from Kim Foxx to Tina, former Michelle Obama's chief of staff, colluding and coordinating to get together to get Jussie off.
Yeah. I mean, of course, you have to be completely stupid to not know that something like that happened, but to actually have the documents that kind of verify it, it just makes it that much more obvious, you know?
Right. And so this article, I woke up this morning and I read this article from Breitbart News. Great writer. Must follow him on Twitter, Joel Pollack. Jussie Smollett. Whitewash is about Chicago mayoral election.
Interesting. Okay.
I read this one first, and then somebody sent me the Big League Politics one. And I read this, and then when I read Big League Politics, I'm like, these don't match up. Then I went back to it. Folks, Jussie Smollett was a pawn that was used in the middle of Chicago's mayoral race. Rahm Emanuel is stepping down. He's not running for re-election.
Oh, he's not? Okay.
No.
Okay.
So since he's not running for re-election, you've got the first gay black woman and another black woman. Oh, they're all Democrats now.
Okay.
The one woman...
It's a one-party town.
Yeah. No, the one woman has ties and connections to a gentleman, and the only person who was ever able to beat Barack Obama in 2000 for his congressional run. And he is a former Black Panther and does not side with Barack Obama.
Okay.
The other woman sides with sides with Fox. Kim Foxx sides with Kim Foxx and that crew through the Obamas and the Jussie Smollett.
Okay.
So you got those two sides that are separate. There's 7 days until the vote.
Oh, because of a primary.
Yeah.
They don't have a general. It's probably unopposed.
Right, probably unopposed. So since it's 7 days away, they say that this has been the most brutal, vicious election in a long, long time, and that's standard for Chicago politics. But folks, they're claiming, Joe Pollack is explaining that he believes that this was done because of politics and the black community facing what could only be seen as a war zone in Chicago.
Right.
And
It's like Fallujah.
Right. And the black community hates the police department.
Interesting.
And so she's throwing, and this is just me surmising, that she's getting Jussie off to get siding like an O.J. Simpson ordeal, get siding from the black community for her to win, where the other one would maybe side with the police department.
Yeah, for them to even try to compare this to O.J. Simpson is
well, no, I did
really,
that.
Oh, okay.
I did. I compared. I'm just saying that.
Oh, there is comparisons to be made, but it's definitely different.
No, very different. I mean,
because he got attacked by two black men that are friends with him and were paid by him to do so.
Right.
So.
But I mean, the verdict at the end when OJ was let off.
Yes.
We all knew, even the black community knew, and they were like,
but they cheered because they felt like there was some sort of justice there, that so many black, innocent black people who had been falsely incarcerated somehow were able to live vicariously through him. That at one point somebody finally got off or something like that.
Right. So for them to pull this stunt, folks, this is beyond anything I've ever seen in politics ever before.
So in a way, they might have done this specifically to slap the face of the police department.
No, I'm sure. I agree.
And it's not a racial thing, because the face of the Chicago Police Department is a black man, and there's a lot of, non-whites on the police force in Chicago. So it's like really strange, because it's not a racial thing.
Right.
You have a guy who was attacked.
But you could make it a racial thing.
I guess. It's just really weird, because you got a guy who's a black gay man, attacked by purportedly two white men in MAGA hats. Turned out to be two black men who were paid to do so by him. And the police force is black, and the mayor's black, and just all this stuff. And it all just blows up.
Right. So just real quick to round out the whole show, because we are out of time. Immigration out of control, illegal immigration. This at Marsha Patriot. Yahoo, take them out of my neighborhood and send them to the blue states. At T-Boots, that was a response to at T-Boots. Welcome to America. Out of control, happening at the McAllen, Texas bus station. Migrants in the hundreds are being let go by CBP, loading on buses heading to New York and Virginia and other locations.
To give a quick update, I'm inside of the McAllen bus station. There are hundreds of people in here that have been let go from CBP processing because there is not enough space to keep them. This is coming from CBP. They say there's not enough room. They don't have enough space for them. And this has actually cleared up quite a bit. A lot of them have gone on the buses already, so you can't see the quite amount that there was. But I'm going to go outside and you can see that this line to get on the bus is super long. Goes way back there. You can see this is where they're boarding the bus. Now, the people that I've talked to say they have different destinations. Not a lot of them are staying in Texas. A lot of them are going to New York. They tell me a lot of them are going to Virginia. So other states definitely, but this is the line. They were let go from CBP today. This is what they say, and they all have similar stories. They're all from Central America, and they all say that they're just trying to get to other family members that are throughout the United States, and this is just them waiting in their line. There was a whole bunch more, but they've already departed. So this is outside waiting to get on that bus. Now I'm going to go back inside, and you can see that there's still a bunch of them waiting to go onto their destinations. That's our wonderful photographer out there. But I did interview a couple of them. I did speak to a few of them, and those stories will be all going your way pretty soon.
We got a good friend of ours, Sam, who lives in Texas and has been screaming to the top of the mountains about this for a very long time. So this lends credibility to Sam, and Sam lends credibility to them.
It makes sense. If you're going to be a party that is pushing for open borders and illegal immigration, and you're actually physically seeing it done, you have to take the next step in organizing against the Republicans, against America, for your own power. And that is, look at the Electoral College. We need to start sending these immigrants to places where we need more help, right? Or less help.
Right.
In the case of sending them to Virginia, and now Virginia's a battleground state. So, but the thing you got to understand is illegal immigrants can't vote. You can try to get them to vote illegally, but that's you're not going to be able to get. it's going to be tough to get it done in mass there. Where they come into play is they are counted in the census. And the census numbers are what drive the electoral college numbers. So you are creating fake electoral college representatives based on illegal immigrants.
And population size.
So you could take them to New York City or New York State, whatever, and pile them in there and get big numbers. Now, we know that New York is essentially a one-party state. It's going to be blue as all get out for a while. We'll see what Trump can do this next election cycle. However, if we can inflate it with big census numbers, we got 2020. That's when the census happens, every 10th year.
Right.
So you got the 2000, 2010, 2020. They're trying to load up. In fact, I'm just coming up with this right now. You guys can do your own math on this or do your own research. This might be why there's a huge uptick in illegal immigration all of a sudden.
It is enormous. It is really,
we got
really
2020 coming up. Starting probably January of 2020, census takers are going to start going door to door and counting how many people live in each state.
Right.
And they're going to tally that up and it'll be there for all time. And this is our electoral college numbers.
So the 1-2 punch, if you will, that's coming at the back door, and from the side door, Project Veritas, Project_Veritas at James O'Keefe. New faces of voter fraud #2 or part 2. The victims, Florida voters, upset people in New York voting in their name. So check out this video where they show that people that have left New York and now live in Florida.
Yeah, someone's voting in my name in New York.
In today's investigation, we meet 3 voters in Florida who used to live in New York. At first glance, it looked like these 3 men were voting illegally by voting in both states. In each case, it looks like someone was voting in New York State in their name without their knowledge. We want to be very clear. We believe all these men are victims of voter fraud and not culprits.
But I've lived in Florida for the past 5 years.
Voter records show Kevin Robinson voted in both New York and Florida.
If you guys have it confirmed that somebody definitely voted under my name in New York State, then somebody's voting with my name.
We asked the Erie County, New York Board of Elections about Kevin Michael Robinson's registration and recent voting history in New York.
So you did vote in 2018?
Okay, and the address matches up?
Yep.
Kevin Robinson used to live in Depew, New York, near Buffalo. Kevin Robinson was not happy to learn that someone was voting in his name.
No, the reason you come up on our list is because it said that you had voted in 2018 here and there.
I didn't vote up there.
And we don't care.
I care. I care.
Michael Bornhorst has a very similar story.
It wouldn't surprise me if I'm still a registered voter in New York, but I haven't voted in New York in 13 years. No, it wasn't me. It's voter fraud, apparently.
Bornhorst gets it. Without cross-referencing voter registration lists across the states, voters who have moved remain on the rolls. Remember, there are no voter ID requirements to vote in New York. It's the same story with Dwight Mumper.
Person down here is filming us for training purposes. We have that you voted in the 2018 general election in Florida, early voting. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. I think what's just odd to us is that it shows that you voted early here, and then it shows that you voted in person at the polls in New York.
No, that was not me. I've been there in video.
We believe this is just the tip of the iceberg. Now, if you're aware of double voting or ballot harvesting or voting by illegal aliens, don't sit silently. Be brave and contact us. We will help you fix the problem by exposing the problem.
Never go back to vote in New York, but apparently somebody is showing up in their name and voting. And with that being said, folks, we've got to stick with this. We got to fight like our lives are dependent upon it, because they absolutely are. Right here, New Right Network tonight. Your host, Brian Smith and Carrie Smith, giving you all. I'm so, my head is just exploding with all this stuff.
So angry. No, you should be. You should be outraged by all this stuff, and just tune in every single day with us at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and get the truth. And if you'd like to support what we do, we are on patreon.com/SmithRadio, and just tune in to smith.tv to see what's going on in the meantime.
Absolutely. Have a good night, folks, and we will see you Mondays and Thursdays. Carrie's tied up, so we'll do another Freestyle Thursday.
Freestyle Thursday, I like that.
We're just kind of run with it, see how it Throw it up against the wall and see if it sticks.
All right, I like it.
Have a good night.
See ya.
You've been listening to New Right Network, mobilizing, countering, energizing. Online at newrightnetwork.com.
No, what the fuck is he? I can't stop this. Yes, please.
That is fucking spectacular.
Merlin, you're a fucking genius.
You gotta tell him,